bring it to the stage. The dealer principal of Nissan of Bowie and my friend, the one and only, Mr. Damon Lester! Absolutely, 100%. Former president of NAMAD, I'm telling you, he bring it to the top. All right, cool, it's not over yet, I'm bringing another one, Justin, I'm bringing another one. Absolute rock star, the owner of 31 plus stores. Man, this gentleman is absolutely phenomenal, answers my calls every time I call him, ready to pour out some value to the internet sales 20 you. Don't give it up for the one and only, Mr. Damian Mills! Hey, come on, hey. Yes.
There we go. Yo, he forgot where he's at real quick. Listen, have a seat, gentlemen. Let me just kind of say really quick, the amount of respect I have for both of these men is it's hard to even articulate. But the fact that Damian Mills is here right now, he literally did a pit stop just to do this, and then he's flying to Germany like right now, right after this for Mercedes-Benz. So can I have a big round of applause for both of them right now?
It's a Bentley franchise.
Damon Lester has, if you guys don't know who this guy's another legend in the industry. For 20 years, he was the president of NAMAD, which is the National Association of Minority Automobile Dealers. He's got experience, with the government, with legislation, with banks, with OEMs, dealers, and now he is a dealer principal himself of Nissan of Bowie. Can I get a round of applause, Mr. Damon Lester? Woo!
That's right.
Chairman of NAMAD and vice chair of NAMAD, correct?
That's right.
All right, guys, so listen, I want to just crack into this. Damien, I've been getting a lot of questions from people. Just give us a quick background. You started out in car sales, correct?
Yep.
Okay, and how did you go from being a car salesman to owning 31 and counting rooftops?
Well, thank everyone thank you for inviting us, obviously,
brother.
Sean. And Sean's a very dear friend, and we've been friends for quite some time. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for investing in yourselves to take time out of your busy schedules in order to come here to learn something, to participate, to become a better version of yourself, to do what it is we do every single day. I think the best investment that we make is the one we make in ourselves, right? As well as the supporters and the vendors. And so Sean is a friend of NAMAD and a friend of mine, so we appreciate the support that you give to the organization as well. But long story short, I believe the car business chooses us. We don't tend to choose the car business, right? And, I don't think anybody tends to come into the industry in and of itself probably directly. So indirectly, I needed a summertime job from college. And couldn't afford to go back home to Louisiana, so I was in North Carolina. I attended North Carolina A&T State University.
Whoop, whoop.
Any Aggies in the house? Okay.
John
and
Lennon.
majored in economics and needed a summertime job and started selling cars and met a mentor during my time there. And that mentor poured into me and spoke to me and showed me the potential of what this industry could be if you would invest in it. It would, in return, invest back in you. I think in most cases, we try to glean from the fields of industry before we actually plant the seeds in the industry. And so that particular individual invested in me and showed me the potential of it. And when he did that, I began to take it seriously. I had some level of success. And then one success leads to another success, leads to another success. And saw the potential of what the industry could provide. But I also saw the dynamic of the industry look the same 20 years ago. The approach was the same. The people running the stores were the same. The people that owned the stores looked the same. The opportunities seemingly were far-fetched in reach, but not in mindset. But once I understood that, if they can, so can I. If he can,
put some on that.
So can we, right? That's when, we began to put in the hands of the plow and started to dream big dreams. And I do believe that your blessings make room for you. So, you know what? When you have the boldness to pray and ask for something, you got to pray big prayers, because when you pray big prayers, you know that the person that blesses you with them wasn't you by yourself. So that's how we got here.
It's interesting you say that, because we've been partners with Cardone for almost 5 years now. And one of the things that Grant says that really kind of spoke to my soul was, I wish that I thought bigger sooner. I wish that I thought bigger sooner. And then when we talk to people like Chrissy Burton in the building, which you guys know, or Cody Carter or Ali Reda, and we ask them, how do you sell 100+ cars a month as a salesperson? They said that they took the safeties off. They said that the second that they believe that they are capable of something at that level, it made it possible. Do you believe that?
Well, Sean, this is what I believe. If you believe that you can do what it is you're dreaming of, then you're not dreaming big enough.
Whew. Can you repeat that, sir?
If you believe that what you're dreaming for, you can attain yourself, then your dream isn't big enough.
So, amen on that.
You know what? Everyone has to have permission to exceed and meet greatness. And I think sometimes we operate in the realm of the guardrails of life, left or right, front and back, based on what we think is achievable. But if you wake up every single morning thinking that you can attain it, then guess what? You're limited by minutes, by hours, by days, by weeks, by months, and eventually we all going to lose to something called death by years. So the only way you create legacy is by dreaming bigger dreams that exceed even your expectations. That's how you take something from super to supernatural.
So Damon, you have a unique background, and I just think it's amazing because of all the years you put at NAMAD. But now that you are a dealer principal, how long you've owned the stores now?
3 years.
God, but man, that goes quick. Come on. How did you spend 20 years like supporting dealers and recently became, what was the motivating factor to jump onto the dealer side?
Well, I had to do, first, good seeing everyone, and thank you for having us. I think for me, it was an assessment that I had to make, right? I had to look at myself and say, hey, I'm doing this for 20 plus years. Do I want to do another 20? Right? So you have to kind of look at yourself in the mirror to see what is the next thing for you. And my career as a servant leader or advocate or lobbyist and all of those things that I've been successful with doing with the association, I wanted to see how can I apply that for myself. But what I learned, the lesson out of that is, if you have historically been advocating for someone, you need someone to advocate for you.
Absolutely.
It's a difficult thing to advocate for yourself when you want something or you have dreams or you have a goal. Someone has to be there to support. Someone has to be there to pull you up. Someone has to be there to give you the pat on the back and say it's okay. And there's a finite number of people who will do that for you. This man right here was like my biggest cheerleader. You can do it, D. You can do it. And you don't, sometimes just little words like that carry a lot of weight. Because I know that I've been successful with helping others, whether it's minority or non, but could I do it for me? That was the hardest part for it. That was the hardest part of that journey, was I needed someone to advocate for me, just like I've unsolicitedly advocated and fought for others, whether it was for an opportunity to save them or they needed something. It's an unsolicited part of giving that we all have. We have it inside of you. So at my store, we have our three philosophies. I want you to be kind, I want you to be empathetic, and I want you to show gratitude. If you have those three things, life will work out. That's how I treat my people or our team members, and that's all I expect our team to express to our customers. And so all those things are kind of part of the recipe for success for me.
I love it. I want to just touch on something, then we're going to go into the 5 pillars, if that's okay. I've been in the business for 25 years, and I just, in the last 4 years, got immersed in name ad. I want to thank you because the name ad organization has embraced me, my family, my daughter, and I feel like it's a homecoming, like you always say. Whenever we go to Miami for the reception, it's just like it's a reunion. There's a lot of people in here for name ad, but there are a lot of dealers that don't know what name ad is, and they don't understand the significance of it. And I learned from both of y'all that, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that over 30% of all automotive purchases are by minorities.
34%.
Thank you, sir. Okay, so 34% of all automotive purchases are from minorities, but less than 6%.
It's about 7.
Less than 7% of dealerships are owned by minorities. So when I hear those stats, and then I hear your story, and I could do some math and how old you were when you got into the industry and the shit that you had to deal with back then, and I'm sure to some degree here, to overcome that, and not just buy a store, but to be at the level that you're at, and to not let it go to your head, because he's never gonna say this, but Damon and I could talk about all the things that this man does on the DL, on the down low, to the public, to the kids. It's just so important. So can you guys talk about just the minority aspect in dealerships and why our audience should be at least cognizant of it, please?
What I think is this, I believe in inclusion. I believe you look around the room and you see, together we're all stronger, and our differences are actually our strength. You see, I believe that a person that does not want to hear a different perspective becomes tone deaf. You just do. And I'm an advocate, for that type of difference in the industry, because I think that there's strength in that. And I think that there's also personal security. It's insecure to think that you have all the answers, or someone that's got your last name, or someone that just looks like you, or someone that is, not different, can't offer you something substantive in offering a different perspective. And I say that because my mentor didn't look like me, but at the end of the day, he invested and poured into me, and he dripped on me. And in turn, I drip on others, right? And so, you look at our group, out of 30 stores, we have Caucasian American general managers, female, Asian American, Hispanic American, everybody, African American, because you know what? I believe in inclusion. And I believe that's also the reason why we've grown so much. And I think that there's security in that, security in differences. You don't have to wait for an agenda, a geopolitical event, to be who you are. You just have to be who you are. And guess what? Don't apologize for who you are. Don't apologize for it. If you have one perspective and that's your level of comfort, then guess what? I think that, you should be confident in who you are. But I do believe that there's strength in diversity. Because if you can glean from the fields of diversity, you ought to be able to sow and plant in those areas as well. And I'm just going to do what I'm going to do because I'm called to, and I get to, not because I got to. The energy that someone puts, think about it. There's only one difference in the word get to, got to. But the energy we put into that word, I got to get up in the morning and work out. Jesus. I get to. I got to mentor and develop someone versus I get to. One gives us the feeling of oppression. The other gives us the feeling of opportunity. One gives us the feeling of I don't want to do it. The other gives us a feeling of I get to do it. I have the opportunity to do it. And when you focus on things in that perspective and you get up every single day thankful, like he said, gratitude, thankful for the opportunity that you have, I think we subscribe to what we do every single day as not mundane, but being called to do it. You see, the decision I made long ago, Sean, was this. And we run a faith-based company, and I'm proud of that. And what I say is this. If you don't do what you're called to do, rest assured, he'll choose someone else to.
Woof. Whoa.
And that's just the perspective that I have. And so I've been blessed to do it.
I don't know how you want me to follow that, but
That's why I looked at you. I didn't say nothing. But before we open up to questions, you've developed these 5 pillars. Because I said, everybody wants to know how. How did you do it? What do you do? And he's like, I got 5 pillars. So can you break these down, the 5 pillars?
Okay. One of the things I even shared with Damon, a lot of what we've learned, what I've learned in my team and I stand on the shoulders of a great team. I have a team of people that's been with me a very, very long time, 10, 15, 18 years. And I get to be the face of something that they operate every single day. So I'm very humbled and grateful that they give me the opportunity to lead them every single day. And, but one of the things, even in your departments, in your dealerships that you run, when we were a smaller organization, I found that when I was doing the interviewing and recruiting, I kind of knew what kind of person I wanted, right? Okay, so then you can't micromanage. So you start allowing people to make the decisions. You develop them and you grow them, and you start allowing them to make the decisions in their departments, in their dealerships and whatnot. But one thing I found out is that people don't hire who you are, they hire who they are. So generally, if you have a department or a dealership that has a lot of high turnover, it's not because the dealership's the problem, it's because the person making the decisions about the people they're bringing in is the problem. Whew. So, because we're solutions focused and not problem focused, I said, well, you know what, we need to come up with a roadmap. A roadmap that identifies what type of people we want. It's interesting, Chick-fil-A and McDonald's plays the same amount, but it's a different type of individual that you get to connect with when you go to Chick-fil-A. Now, I could talk about food because I look like it, right? But then when you engage in some other restaurants, right? So I thought about what were the keys to success that it would take to be on this team. And I came up with 5 pillars: character, integrity, performance, work ethic, and teamwork. Character, integrity, performance, work ethic, and teamwork.
One more time.
Character, integrity, performance, work ethic, and teamwork. Now, guess what? It doesn't mean that you got to have it. It just means that if you're going to be on my team, you got to have it. It just is what it is. Those are the things we hire to. Those are the things that we fire based upon. Those are the things that we promote based upon. And those are the things we look for. Those are the things when we're interviewing people and we're talking to them, this is who we want. Now, guess what? It doesn't mean that you're a bad person if you don't have them. It just means you won't be a good fit. So you need to go somewhere else. I think that if you don't have a framework of what it is you want and who it is you want, you end up with what you got. So your people, arming the people that you're leading every single day with a roadmap. And you might say, well, how did you come up with that? Because guess what? I self-reflected. I have character. I have integrity. I love to perform at a very high level. I'm a team player. And I work hard as hell. And you know what? Knowing what you want and being bold about putting it out there, it also lets people know what to live up to when they walk in day one, what to expect. This is whether you're in sports, whether you're in business, or whether you're in life.
So can you do me a favor, please? Can you break those down? Because you rattled them off 3 times. But again, just because some people haven't been inducted, break down what those mean to you specifically.
Well, I mean, I think they're self-explanatory.
But try anyway.
Okay, but
we would assume.
I will say this, and they're not mutually exclusive, by the way. You got to have all 5 of them. So you could have a strong work ethic but not have character and integrity, and we can't play with you. You can have integrity and character but not perform, and I won't win with you. You got to have all 5 of them. You know what? Character, doing what you are supposed to do, not because someone told you, but because it's the right thing to do. Integrity. You know what integrity is. We all know what integrity is. Right? The hell, today is the tax day. Integrity. Jesus. Come on, we know. Come on. How many of us forgot that integrity yesterday, right? Teamwork. Not trying to one-up one another. Not trying to throw shade. Not trying to, you know what? Being a team player is just as much about performing in your individual role as it is assisting, encouraging, and dripping on people.
You say that, and that's deep. As you guys know, me and my wife and our team have been partnered with Franklin Covey for 16 years. And the whole concept of 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, I highly recommend that book, is to take a person or organization from the dependent, codependent mindset to the independent mindset. But what they say, the nirvana is interdependence. A company, an organization that operates on an interdependent mindset, which instead of it being about me, or I, it's about us and we, are the most successful. That's why literally 70% of all Fortune 100 and Fortune 500 corporations go through the course. So in your organization, it sounds like that collaboration, synergy, and interdependence are, part of the framework. Am I correct?
It has to be.
Then the question is, sometimes in automotive, we're trained or conditioned incorrectly that this is a solo sport. Like when I sold cars, I was a 30-car guy, and this is a confession, not anything crazy, but I never, skated to somebody or took food out of their mouth, but I wasn't the person that was going to help somebody else. I was young and stupid back then. As I get older and I'm learning and I'm around amazing people, I understand that there's more. So how do you guys talk about developing cultures in the dealership about collaboration, about synergy, about interdependence, and get away from what traditional dealerships is me, my?
I think for me, what I've learned while being in retail is those individuals who are going after for their own intentions, the company tends to fail. So if it's okay if someone does this many, but your others are maybe at 10 or 5 or 4, or your KPI scores are perfect, but the rest of your teammates are crap, that's more of a reflection on you because you're looking more at your own personal gain, and that's what we should do. But in the spirit of teamwork, as Damian mentioned, and in the spirit of growth, right? There's growth personally, there's growth externally as well for where we all work or have or own a business. You have to have this unselfishness about you to make everyone grow. Diversity is growth. No matter you're African American, Asian, Latino, Native American, female, it's growth. If a shark can't grow in a fishbowl, right? It has to have that access. It has to have the capacity to so it can see where it can go. And that's all this is, right? We all want to grow. We want to grow financially, right? We want to take care of our families. That's a goal. But it's our responsibility to plant new seeds. Yes. It's our responsibility to duplicate ourselves, whether it's at home, in sports, or whatever our interests are. We have to figure out how can we duplicate ourselves so that we can pass whatever knowledge, whatever skill set we have onto someone else. So it's important for us to grow professionally. It's also important to groom and grow the people who you have. When I purchased my store, I inherited a culture that was not what I wanted, or me. I had to figure out the pillars because I didn't know what I wanted out of it. I knew the transactional part, I wanted to sell a car, but the infinite game on this was, how can I be the best and take care of my people so they can all grow? And so I went through a transition. That's why there's a lot of turnover. Because people recycle themselves into being the same person that they were before, right? And so when leaders come in and they want to inject themselves with their leadership or what their vision is, people backlash because they don't like change. We all like to be comfortable just from a selfish standpoint, right? Change is kind of disruptive. And so there's a vulnerability that you as a leader have to your people and vice versa, because they got to want to grow with the company or they will grow themselves out, right? And it's okay for people to want to remove themselves or go on to another opportunity. But as far as our core is, or what we believe in and how we operate and how we tend to take care of our people, and particularly take care of our team and our customers, that's all bred within your leadership and what you want, which is the get to, got to.
Got to.
So I believe that legacy is not what you have, is what you give. If you really want to create legacy, it's not what you have, it's what you give. People, we all tend to operate inherently in a selfish nature. That's human instinct. It's human nature, self-preservation. But when you get to a place in your personal life and your professional life where you see investing in someone else does not deplete relevancy over here in yourself, it actually multiplies what your capacity is. When you get to the place where you're willing to come, because there's going to be people in the room that's going to have the opportunity to sit on a stage one day to do for others what's been done for you. And in most cases, it's not going to be in a matter of convenience. It's not going to be in the matter of just doing it in the nick of time when I want to, okay, when I get to versus got to. So when you're willing to make that investment in someone else to pay it forward, whether it's the person in your department, whether it's the department, whether it's the dealership that you're going to, whether it's helping someone else and train someone else and pouring into someone else, whether it's, investing in yourself, but also taking the investment you've made in yourself and going back and training someone else. When you're willing to do those things, then you get measured with more. And then that more multiplies. Because as you multiply what it is you're doing, you become multiplied in what it is you have to do. And the crazy part is this. It's easier when you multiply than when you try to do it all your damn self. It's easier, see, because all you can hold is everything in your one hand. If all you can control, okay, is what's in your hand, how does it ever multiply and grow? The only way it does that is if you're multiplying what it is you're doing through people. And then you get the benefit of seeing people's lives change. People that come into this industry and they, you know what, they start at this level and they grow to this level. And you know what, it's crazy because the greatest joy you get is you see them grow up in the business and you see the benefit of the business become a beneficiary of the business that we so love. And then it gives you a sense of pride because you're able to look at where someone started and know that you had a contribution along the way. And so I think when you look at things through that perspective, I think it becomes a matter of we become trusted with more because we're not selfish. And it doesn't make selfish people bad. It just makes, guess what? Selfish people are going to only operate in that 7-day, 52-week, 12-month mindset. And you'll be doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it, but it won't ever multiply. Everybody talks about that term 10x and 12x and 20x and 50x and 100x. Well, you can't do that with the limited nature of how we all are, equally put here. We all got the same number of days, minutes in a day, in an hour, months in a year. What it is that we do and what we get out of it is based on what we invest in it. So
a lot of us in here are from, we all got to know each other through Clubhouse, right?
Yes. That's what I get.
Right? Give a plug, right? We were up 6, 7 in the morning during COVID. Roy, I see you in the room.
There you go.
Right? We all depend. We are all working. Chrissy, we're all on Clubhouse. That period of time, we all fed into each other. And we've never met each other. Corey, I see Corey Moses. We've never met each other. Think about how much power in that network and what we were all able to do, Sandy, to meet each other from all across the country and all pour into each other. Because you had a room. NAMAT had a room. A couple other folks here had a room. And we did this on time. We did it because we wanted to.
For hours.
For hours.
Hours.
And we raised our hand. Right. We raised our hand to provide an insert, and we poured into everyone that was either on that stage. We poured into everyone who was just needed a little bit of help. We encouraged. we uplifted, we did all of these things, not because we got to, but we wanted to. And so this is all a product of us giving each other or giving into each other or pouring into each other because we naturally do love each other and care for each other, right? There's not anyone in this room who doesn't care for another person, no matter what your color, ethnicity, or race is.
Absolutely. Woo!
Not till we got face-to-face when the world opened back up. We went to the NAMAD conference, we went to NADA, we went to ISG 20 in Philly, right? That's when we all got a chance to know each other.
Yes.
And that bond, by just being on the phone, feeding into each other, listening and learning about issues, or figuring out best practices, or taking little tidbits of each other back from us and implementing them, we all became friends for life and never met each other. So this is what it's all about, right? We have to plant seeds to grow. Because if you don't plant new seeds and we don't sow the ground and we don't nurture that, we don't water it, new buds can't grow. That's what this is about. It grows in personal life and professionally.
Let me say this. Shakespeare said, show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are. Chris Saraceno wrote a book. He's part of the Kelly Automotive Group, and he's just an amazing car guy. The theory of five that says that you are the sum of the 5 people you surround yourself the most with. So again, look at the people around you on the vendor side, on the sales side, on the subject matter expert side. The synergy in this room is powerful. But if we don't engage it and maximize it, we are absolutely going to waste it. Let me repeat that. If we don't engage it and maximize it, we are going to utterly waste it. So with that being said, let's not waste the opportunity to engage the stage right now. Who's got some questions for this awesome group up here? All right, announce yourself again.
Roy with Team Chevy. Damian, this one's especially for you. Damon, we could talk for days. Assume that you're somebody of intentionality. Everything you do, everything you say, everything you put into practice is intentional with your people especially. What do you think that does for your management staff, not just your salespeople, but your managers as future leaders, being that intentional with your hiring, being that intentional with the questions you ask, the character that you need from them? And I love the fact that you say all 5. We're not compromising on 4, right? We need all 5 to be a member of your team. What do you think giving that kind of intentionality and that kind of direction to your people does for your store and its culture?
Creates consistency. See, I tell people all the time, I'm not fair. I'm consistent. Because guess what? What's fair for you may not be fair for you. What's fair for you may not be fair for you. If I try to be fair to everybody, I'm trying to be everything for everybody. But I'm not going to be fair, but I'm going to be consistent. You have to create consistency as a leader. And you know what? When you create consistency, that breeds transparency and expectation. When you get the locker room to know what the behavior is, people know the repercussions of the behavior, and they know the expectations of the behavior. Just think about it. How many of you guys got raised by that quintessential parent that said, when they brought you to the store, they looked at you before you got out the car. Don't you say nothing. Don't you touch nothing. Don't you take nothing. Because if you do, I'm going to hit you from the neck to the navel where they don't show no bruises. Expectation, transparency, consistency. Parents were great at it, right? I think that when you have these types of things, it actually breeds trust. Because, see, some people think that accountability is top down, but the most powerful accountability is bottom up.
I love the 5 pillars. We implement a lot of the same stuff. I run a big sales organization. But how do you foster the culture at the store level? Like, what are you guys doing at the store level to help build this culture? Like, are there meetings? Is there a certain type of coaching? What's going on to continue to foster the culture so it continues to grow?
Well, number one, we have to, I think I said it, and Damon said it earlier, you got to constantly and consistently drip on your people. And, I've learned in my life, I have a pastor that says people would rather see a sermon than hear one. So what we try to do is live out what we do every single day. But I'm going to tell you the most critical times when people test to see if you're serious in your day-to-day decision making. You know, anybody can make a decision about two-car Tommy. But when it comes to a 30 or 40 or 50 or 60 car person that compromises your pillars, are you willing to make a tough choice then? And
Amen.
the answer
Amen.
is absolutely yes. I will not allow temporary setbacks to compromise the future of the culture of an organization, because temporary contributions are not sustainable. Cultures are sustainable. So when you have to make a difficult decision about a person that, guess what, comes in 20 minutes late, and the person that shows up on time may not be the person that is the best person, but the person that, you know, truthfully, it's a level of entitlement that gives this person the notion that they cannot follow the principles. So when people see that you're willing, you know, Sun Tzu, Art of War, to remove one, they tend to sit up straight. Absolutely. Because they recognize, they say, guess what? If he's willing to eliminate her, what will he do to me? If he's willing to make a decision about him, what will he do for me? But they also look at it in a other way by saying, you know what, I can come into this business. I don't have to look a certain way. I don't have to talk a certain way. I don't have to speak the King's English. I don't have to come from a certain zip code. I don't have to have certain parents. My name may not be the last name on the building. And if I can do what I do every single day, put my head down, hand to the plow, and guess what? I stand and sit under open heaven that the same opportunities he got, I can get if I just do the work that he did. The difference between where I'm at and where you are is not opportunity, it's time. Are you willing to take the time and be patient enough to trust the process? Because our growth, our development, our sustainability doesn't come in a microwave moment. It comes in time. The time when you get frustrated, when you're about to go leave because somebody offered you a different pay plan, when you know you're behind needs to stay where you at. But because somebody gave you $1 more, a day off longer, you say, guess what? My why for leaving is greater than my reason for staying. Really? The person that invested in you, the person that trained you, the person that sent you behind here. Come on, let's talk about it.
Let's.
Because at the end of the day, you know what? Everything goes full circle. And I give people permission to seek their future wherever they want to go. But understand, you only get to sit on this bus one time. And once your seat is given up, guess what? We'll wave at you when we pass, because we're not stopping.
Thank you. Thank you.
If you're the smartest person in the room, you need to change rooms.
Oh, yeah.
So how do you guys lead your teams and continue to help them grow when they start to get in a comfort zone or a pattern-driven zone or feel like they know it all?
So that's a good question. I would say I've never been in the retail business until I purchased a store. I went to training, went in a DA academy. I've been exposed to the dealerships, but I've never ran a dealership. So I'll put it to you like this. If you use AI or ChatGPT, you use it, right? In order for you to use it correctly, you got to have an idea what the answer is. If you don't know what the answer is, you really don't know how to put the face the question to get the response, to at least to give you an idea or a roadmap response to what you want. So there's the time that I spent at NAMAD, right? I've spent 20 plus years around minority dealers, public company owners, CEOs, bank CEOs. So I've been a sponge through all these years, and it wasn't until 2021 when I was ready and I was prepared. Didn't know I was prepared, but I had an idea of what I wanted and how to get to it. And so the answer, and the shorter version of it is, you don't know what you know, but you know what you want. And that's going to be a feeling. In the car business, if you got to listen to your gut. You have no choice but to listen to your gut, no matter what your position is within the store, sales, service, or as one of you guys in the vendor. You have to listen to your gut and your conscious matters, because that's what's guiding you.
You guys work with a lot of really talented people that are achiever, that really want to win. How do you and how give them a track to grow their own career within your organization? How do they have any kind of confidence to know that this is a place that I can, if they have a goal to be a GM one day, what do you do for them?
I share my story with how I got here, And people want to see their futures inside of our stories. Does your story have room for other people to duplicate it? And I think when you have the opportunity to grow and develop, not 90% of the time, my preference is to develop and grow people from within, because they already know the culture. They know the stuff they like about me. They know the stuff that they don't like about me. I tell people all the time that everybody don't like me, and it's okay. I will absolutely piss somebody off at some time. And you know what? If the people are coming to you saying that they love you, they're lying to you. And the ones that say you ain't good, they're lying to you too, because you're not 100% of everything to everybody, right? And if you are, they're patronizing you. So I think having that, to create a consistent culture, you have to offer people the opportunity. You can't be selfish with opportunity. You have to invest in someone. And you know what? I mean, I have people. I was just with one of our GMs who actually came to us. You know, his first interview was with us. You know, he went to school in Alabama, and he came in for a summertime job to wash cars. And I looked at him. I talked to him. I said, no, you can do more than that. No, you can wash a car, but you can do something else too. So invested in him, and you know what? He grew in the business, and now he's the general manager of one of our stores and doing a phenomenal job. And you know, I think people have to attach themselves to people that give them permission to dream big dreams and be secure if the person beside them has a bigger dream than you. I tell my children all the time, this is the least expensive car you should ever ride in, the smallest house you should live in, the smallest dream you should have. Everything should be double, triple, quadruple what it is you experience, because everything about life is addition and multiplication. Nowhere is it about subtraction that we learn. Now, we learn about pruning, but pruning prepares us for what? New growth. Pruning is not subtraction. So nothing about life should be about subtraction. It should be about pruning to prepare for what? New growth. That's why you want to always stay sharp. You want to invest in yourself, invest in your mind. Make sure you're reading. Make sure, you know what? Time is your currency. What are you spending your currency on every single day? Who are you giving your currency to? Who is robbing you of your time? What Instagram? I mean, what TikTok? I mean, what news? What Netflix? What Hulu? Who? We all got the same amount of time. We all start the day with the same amount of currency. But what in the hell are we doing it? Where is the return on the investment for your day-to-day? I know you guys and ladies are making a good investment today, because you're going to go back tomorrow in the next 2 or 3 days, and you're going to come back with one idea a day. I would come back with one idea a day. Not something I can do 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months from now. Something I'm going to do tomorrow. Something I'm sending an email, a text message back to the store right now that we're going to start to implement today. We ain't going to talk about it. We're going to be about it. Let's get it done.
Listen, if you don't have access to Bradley On Demand, you're missing out on crucial information. The top automotive groups like Koons, Lithia, and Norm Reeves have all used Bradley On Demand to train their teams. And guess what? The world's #1 car salesman, Cody Carter, shares his exclusive strategies right here. You want his secrets? You gotta have Bradley On Demand. Stop waiting and start winning. Dominate your market. Click the link and get access now.